looking forward to some of these summer family videos, though.
Oh, like
Such as.
Such as um, Fast and the Furious 1 that just came out recently. I'm looking forward to that. That sounds like a promising premise.
See it.
I heard they did some stunt work and it might be cool.
Yeah.
I definitely want to see that. Like, I heard that, like, it's so funny. Vin Diesel is now pissed off at Jason Momoa, and basically he's always
the whole
pissed
Rock
off.
thing again. He just needs to find somebody else to feud with constantly.
Dude,
Right.
Like,
imagine
bro,
Vin
just make
Diesel.
the Riddick movies that we all like and move on. We don't need all the drama with other actors, man.
Dude, Vin Diesel is like he's like cutting WWE promos in between his movies. He's always picking fights with everybody. He's always like, you know what? You know what?
Shit.
Fuck The Rock. Fuck Jason Momoa. He's always pissed. Like, shut up. And I
Vin
heard this,
Diesel 316 says, "I just whipped your ass, Rock."
well, he would be Vin Diesel quarter of a mile family.
Oh yeah, and it's got to be that exhale gur, like I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
A quarter mile of a time.
Quarter mile at a time.
But I want to see those movies. And you know what? I don't even give a shit how many times they jump the shark. I actually go into the theater expecting a shark to be jumped in one of those movies.
Since they've already gone to space, what's the next? Are they gonna like die and go to purgatory? Are we gonna go to another universe?
Actually-
what's the next milestone?
Actually, my guess was they were actually going to travel into the depths so they could literally jump a shark.
And make it all meta and shit. I'd
And
be about
especially they're gonna take this real life feud between Vin Diesel and Jason Momoa, and Dom is gonna take the family to go set things straight with Aquaman.
Oh shit! The crossover we never knew we wanted
Sorry.
until now.
The artist formerly known as Aquaman. Womp womp.
The artist formerly known, brilliant, my friend.
Oh shit, that was good.
Oh,
I'm all about this crossover, man. I think you're really onto
Same.
something here, Destin.
And then after that, absolutely heaven, hell, purgatory thing there, because at this point they're gonna like Saints Row it. Like after Saints Row the Third, then they're like, all right, what's next? Who's gonna come to the president, and then alien invasion,
Yeah.
and then the DLC was heaven and hell. So I think they're following the trajectory of the Saints Row video games.
Yeah.
So right along those lines, now, Destin, you got to remember. So after we had Saints Row 4, then we went this whole long period of time with nothing, and then they decided to
Do not
reboot
remind
it.
me. I
And
know
it
where you're
was the
going.
most
Don't remind me.
Piece of shit Saints Row game I ever played. So is that what's going to happen with Fast and Furious? Are we going to get a reboot 10 years down the road and it's going to suck ass?
I hope so.
dude,
That's the thing. I had all the love in the world for the Saints Row franchise. I had zero respect for the Fast and the Furious franchise. So,
Hold on. I will put up.
despite how I look, despite the fact I look like that's my
Look like you could
Fight
be in
Club.
there. Yeah.
You look like a side quest character in a Grand Theft Auto game. Shut the
He does. He really does. He looks like the guy that you got to go do random drug deal missions for, and then disappears and comes back like 2/3 into the game to help you on a mission, being your passenger while he's shooting people out while you're like racing or something.
Why don't you live in New Liberty City anymore? Just out of curiosity. Do you like Los Santos better?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I would prefer Los Santos over Liberty City myself.
That is
I
good.
So before we move on, real quick, I do just want to say I at any given time will put up a defense for Fast and Furious 1 and 2. After 3 is its own thing. 4, I could defend like 1 or 2 things. 5, and then after that, it kind of just goes.
I'll defend them all.
Was 4 Tokyo Drift?
No, that was 3.
Oh, that was 3. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't mind Tokyo Drift as much.
4 was the "We're Coming Back Together" movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would defend all those movies. I don't care. They are the dumbest things ever.
I don't know if
Give me
I
the-
can
give me-
defend the safe as the wrecking ball on the interstate.
Done.
In, like
I will
South
defend it.
American country.
Done. I'll watch that. I watch that with my pants around my ankles. I love that shit. I don't care. I'll keep watching it. All right.
That was very revealing. Thank
Yes,
you.
it was.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. I love those movies. But apparently that movie in particular is a catalyst for this new movie, actually. So
I haven't seen so here's the thing.
I haven't seen it yet.
I actually haven't seen 7 and on. And the reason is because I already know what happens in 7. It's been spoiled for years. I just don't want to watch it. Because look, I liked Paul Walker. I don't need to. I know what's going to happen. I don't need to. I feel like I should just skip it and then watch 8 and on and catch up.
Well, then you'll disappoint yourself. 7 is the best one out of the whole franchise.
But I already know what's going to happen, and I don't want to get upset, John, because I know I'm going to get upset.
I want you to feel. Okay.
Look, I'm going to tell you right now. If I want to feel, I'll put on Jaws because they did that shark wrong. It is sad. It's a travesty. It did nothing.
It got
wrong.
Jumped.
It was just trying to eat.
It was just trying to eat. That's all.
It. It was hungry.
Yeah,
and we blew it up. Like, what the hell,
jumped.
man? And then the shark literally got jumped. What other summer blockbusters are we going to talk about today?
All right. Well, let me bring up the one that just hit the theaters. So don't worry, I haven't seen this, so you won't see any spoiler alerts. But let's talk about it. Across the Spider-Verse.
Did you see it, Destin?
No, I planned on it, and then I forget what happened, so I haven't seen it yet.
This movie definitely, in my opinion, demands the theater. Because even that first movie, the artwork was beautiful. Like that one scene where he's jumping off the building, but they have him so it's like upside down, so it looks like he's floating. Like just beautiful artwork in that whole movie. So to see them do it again, and I know they're going to take it up a notch. It's going to be fantastic cinema.
I love the art style. That was one thing that stuck out to me in the original. Jesse, did we go see the original one together? I can't remember.
No, we didn't. I didn't see the original one in theater, unfortunately.
I'm
mad I did.
I know I took my daughter.
Didn't either.
But I swear you and I went. Maybe, I don't know why I can't remember. But I know that some people complained about the art style, especially when the first one dropped. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic because it actually mixes many different art styles together into one film, but it doesn't mix them to where they're all blended. They stick out from each other. And that's what I appreciate. I can watch one scene where we might have heavy CG, but then I can watch another scene where we may have choppy animation, but then I can watch another scene where it's completely fluid animation, and then I might see a scene where it's all those elements combined, but still individual in one scene. And I really appreciate that because it really gives you a sense of the art. You appreciate the color more. You can live with these characters because they themselves almost step out from the screen because you have so many different contrasts happening at once. You couple that with amazing voiceover performances and a fantastic soundtrack and a story people care about, boom, instant success. And it was. And this one already is too. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. Now, what was your experience like when you saw the first one, Dustin?
When I saw the first one, I remember, unfortunately, I know I was like very, very sick when I saw it. Because I streamed it off of the web.
The web.
I see.
So admittedly, I remember I fell asleep halfway through because again I couldn't. But I had to go back like a week later, and it was one of the first things I thought of. Unfortunately, doesn't have anything to do with the actual movie. Was just like, wow, John Mulaney must have lost a lot in the divorce if he's having to do voice work now. But admittedly, I honestly, when I saw that he was Peter Porker, I was even like, I don't know, that's just kind of abusing the name because at the time he was all hot. As soon as I heard him though, I was like, no, I like him. Honestly, everyone was great. Nick Cage as Spider-Man Noir. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Agreed.
No, it was
agreed.
Just,
and you
again,
can hear it as soon as he starts talking. You're just like, oh my god.
Nicolas Cage in himself is a character where you never have to have him do a voice. We want Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage is a character.
Unless
Yeah.
he's doing Renfield. He did create a Renfield voice, and I appreciated that.
I did. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was trying to get that Bela Lugosi
Yeah,
kind
he
of
was.
older thing, and I appreciate the hell out of that.
I did too. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Jesse. Destin, what do you think? Nick Cage just talks and it's instant gold?
Instant blast.
Agreed. Yep.
If he
Instant gray.
cursed, I think if he had cursed, the movie would have got another billion on top. I think he
Oh,
Right.
absolutely.
like have Nicolas Cage have a meltdown, like his web shooter's empty. God,
Why did you burn, Miles? Why did you burn? Why did you burn?
No.
why did he burn? Why did he...
The first time he attempted the Rubik's Cube, that would have been the perfect moment for a random F-bomb.
Yep. Agreed.
I think that, I mean, just have a freak. You have to have. I think every contract with Nicolas Cage, the movie has to have one Cage meltdown. Has to.
Yes.
You're required
Absolutely.
a Cage meltdown because it just makes it better. And it's just like, and you know, when they one day re-up that Nicolas Cage video where it's him melting down, and then you see all the new clips, people will be like, "What movie was that from?"
Yeah.
Marketing, instant marketing. Yeah, I mean, I didn't see the vampire one until I saw that clip, and he's like, "I'm a vampire." I'm like, "What the hell is this movie?"
Yeah.
Boom! Now I saw that movie. You couldn't
Okay,
buy
the-
better marketing.
Yeah, the formula for a Nicolas Cage movie. Come on, it's as easy as A, B, C,
C,
D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K.
I love that scene. He's just losing.
Q-R-S-T-U-V.
Yeah. The director was just like, dude, just do it.
Just
Do
like
what you got. Just do what comes naturally, and I'll let you know. And then he did.
Yeah. But
Yeah. Brilliant. But
back to the original though. The original Into the Spider-Verse, fantastic. I'm really looking forward to this one. Although I've heard that the animation is a little spotty in patches.
interesting.
I'm okay with that though, for the reasons I said before. Wait, I feel like I missed a joke there. You were
It's
saying a
spotty.
joke.
Spotty as in the villain, the
places.
super villain.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so this movie is, after reuniting with Gwen Stacy, Brooklyn full-time friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is catapulted into the multiverse where he encounters a team of spider people charged with protecting its very existence. However, when the heroes clash on how to handle a new threat, Miles finds himself pitted against the other spiders. He must soon redefine what it means to be a hero so that he can save the people he loves most. Now, that sounds just like incredible, and it's very original. Like, I don't feel like this is a Spider-Man movie I would have never thought I'd ever get. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
I never thought this was gonna happen.
Like, it doesn't fall under the regular, like, okay, bad guy here shows up to the city, not in my town, fight. Like, it's very new. And we have, for Miles Morales, we have literally Donald Glover to thank for this character so much, because I remember what the history behind that was. And again, correct me if I'm wrong. Please comment this. But he was campaigning so hard to be the star of the Andrew Garfield one. Like, he was starting to be in that one. And then what?
Oh, he didn't even start the campaign. It began organically from Twitter.
Yes. Because in Community, he was wearing those Spider-Man onesies.
Yes, yeah. The scene in Community, everyone saw that, and they're just like, yeah, Donald Glover for Spider-Man. He saw that, and he was even like, fuck yeah, I want to be Spider-Man. Donald Glover for Spider-Man. But yeah, so that came from the people, and then Sony didn't listen.
Well, luckily there was a comic book writer that did listen, and that is how the creation of Miles Morales came about. So, I mean, it's so cool to see, it's so cool that now Donald Glover, instead of playing Miles Morales, he plays the Grappler, I think it is. He plays what?
Prowler,
sorry. Prowler, sorry.
Aaron Davis.
Yep. He plays the young.
I mean, there's a part of me that wants to see him in the Miles Morales story, but also you have Mahershala Ali, who is fantastic.
He's great.
Prowler.
He's great.
But,
yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I really hope if we get I really hope the next live action Spider-Man does in fact introduce Miles Morales, and then I hope we get the payoff of Donald Glover being the Prowler, because we only just saw him, the one little quick parking garage scene where he wasn't, all decked out and everything, because I've always loved the Prowler's get up.
I thought I read that it was happening now.
I think
Let
it
me
is
check.
happening. I think this movie.
Yeah, I thought I
was
read that
just
actually like this week. They were going to do a live action Miles film.
Because here's what we do know right now. Here's what we do know about these movies. We know that the post credit scene to Venom was the scene from the Spider-Verse movie, the first one, and then the Venom we know gets into the MCU universe. So by default, they are all connected. So I mean, the possibility of a crossover. I mean, in the fact that Sony owns Spider-Man is very high. I mean, basically, Sony at this rate is giving MCU leasing on Spider-Man because at the end of the day, they're putting Spider-Man on the map. And anything, it's good marketing for Sony to get them to come in. You know what I mean? Because I mean, their Miles Morales Spider-Man is fantastic.
Speaking of Sony,
imagine if they put Spider-Verse in the MCU universe. Do you know the value? How much it would skyrocket? It would go through the roof. So yeah, what were you saying, John?
So they are doing live action Miles and animated Spider-Woman. Amy Pascal confirmed.
Okay. There you go. Yep, she's the head cheese with that. So if she says it, it's the actual thing. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Again, with this movie, it's definitely on my list. I want to see it. It's one of the longest animated movies of all time. It says it's 140 minutes, which definitely this is a movie I think you have to see in theaters to really just fall in love with the artwork. So I'm definitely seeing it. It's a definite go. How about you guys? Definite go or wait till video?
Oh,
definite go.
No, theater. Definite go.
Yeah, definite go. All right, let's check out another movie that's from another long running franchise, The Transformers, man. I remember seeing the first movie with a young, even Steven Shia LaBeouf, man, like right after he did the Holes movie. And that was like, I was a long time ago. What was that, probably 2005?
2007, I think it was.
I would say it was either 6 or 7, probably.
I'm pretty sure it was 2007.
Yeah, but man, they came a long way because now, like, with this film, what is it? Isn't it like no, I'm not counting. Is it like the 10th, including spinoffs?
Well, 2, 4, 5, 6. No, it's like the 7th, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
7th? Not quite 10. But this one, so they did this retcon thing. So we had all the Transformers movies, and then we had Bumblebee. And nobody's denying that all those original Transformers films didn't look great. They did. But there was just something missing. And it's hard to articulate.
Missing from what and where?
That's the thing. I shouldn't assume everybody feels the same way. But as well as others I have conversed about this with, all agree that are there terrible things that happen? Yes. Putting John Turturro out in his underwear, like Superman underwear, I don't know who thought that was a good idea. That should have never happened in the history of filmmaking. So it's got a black eye for that. I'm willing to overlook it. I'm willing to overlook the creeping around the house and Optimus Prime stepping in the mom's flower beds. I mean, this is just weird slapstick shit I would expect out of Thor: Love and Thunder. But if you ignore all of that, you do have a Transformers story. You have the Autobots and the Decepticons. They've come to Earth. They're fighting. Humans get involved. Great job, guys. But that was it. They're like the heart of the Transformers. The experience that 7-year-old John had in front of his 25-inch CRT tube TV watching Transformers after school was not replicated in these films. But then we got to Bumblebee, and we finally said, guys, it's okay to make some changes. And we did. And it felt like Bumblebee just had more heart. It felt like it was closer to what it should be. I'm not saying it was the grand slam, but it did feel like if I had never watched any of those other Transformers and I started with Bumblebee, I'd have been like, that wasn't horrible. It wasn't like, a grand slam, but it wasn't terrible. But I think because I watched those films first, it was a little tainted. So I'm excited to see this because even though it is kind of a not 100% following Beast Wars, anybody who was alive in the mid to late 90s watched Beast Wars. I'm excited to see these characters on the screen. I know the story is going to be a little bit different, but it really does look incredible. I saw my man Grimlock is in it. I'm really excited for it. What do you guys think? I was a little long-winded. I apologize.
No, you're good. I mean, with these movies, man, it's like I said, getting the heart back into the film is important. Bumblebee was a moment of that heart coming back because I think it had some of the highest reviews the Transformers movies had since I think the original trilogy.
Yeah, it did.
And I think, and I think one of the hardest things that these movies have to overcome that most movies can overcome easily is to not be a toy line commercial. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to not be a toy line commercial when your IP is literally toys. Mm-hmm. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, these are movies, are great movies that can be well made, but at the end of the day, the guy who's in charge of Transformers, he wants toys. He wants toys to be sold. He wants that money, and it is. And I think that will always be somewhat of a hindrance on these movies, and not at the fault of anybody on the cast, on the crew, the directing, and all that stuff. I think
you're giving.
Well, okay. No, I'm saying that aspect.
Oh, okay.
That aspect alone.
Okay.
Oh no. The director could foobar and you'd be like, John Turturro, run in your underwear, go. Okay, we still had that happen. Okay.
I'm just like, and he had like the sock stirrups and like, come on, man. Like, what is this?
Well, it had to be a Michael Bay movie still. You know, you had to have John Woo needs doves. Michael Bay needs the brainless, mindless kind of entertainment. I mean, Destin, what did you think about the Transformers movies overall as a whole?
I was gonna say, are you two nerds done long-winding that one?
Oh, we are, Destin. Take it away for the younger crowd, please.
There you go.
Okay. I was hoping you'd go longer. I've not seen a single Transformer movie.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
That's why I was stone silent. I'm like, let you guys carry this one because I got nothing for this one.
That's okay, Destin. So, is there any interest at all in Transformers on your end? Now, I don't just mean the movie. I mean the IP across the board, everything included. Is there anything that actually interests you about Transformers?
I never played with them as a kid.
Okay.
So no,
cool.
I didn't watch any of the cartoons. It's one of the few groups that, again, just somehow I completely unintentionally, albeit I didn't actively seek out to not watch Transformers or anything. It's something I never did.
Hey, no problem. I would say still start with Bumblebee and just go forward from there.
Okay.
Yeah, because this new movie is a prequel, or no, standalone sequel to Bumblebee, but it's also said to be a prequel to the 2017 movie.
Yeah, it's this whole weird time thing. I think they're going to do something with time in this movie. I don't know what or how it's going to be presented.
Yeah.
And look, I could be wrong, but I just keep getting that vibe that there's going to be something time related.
You're not wrong. I mean, look what happened with X-Men Last Stand, where Professor Xavier is walking to Jean's house, and then they show a movie that's in the past in that same timeline, and he's losing his ability to walk when he's shot in the back during the Bay. I mean, the timeline is messed up, and everybody has to figure out, okay, how are we going to make this timeline make sense? Because you want to win the new fans over, saying, hey, this is the new direction we're going to take with the movie, but you also want to keep the old fans watching, saying like, hey, your shit still matters. I mean, that's kind of what DC finds himself in. Yes, the Snyderverse will be coming to an end in the Flash, but they're not saying it never existed either. So it's this weird, like, we have to figure out how to make everybody happy so we can generalize the fan base and make it as good as possible.
But they get to do the easiest out, I think, that's ever existed in all of media, is that you already had everything Flashpoint done years before you did this. So you could have fucked up DC 20 times harder than you did, and you always had the easy reboot route. You always had it. It was just a question of when you were going to use it.
And that's the thing. Like I knew they were going to go in that direction no matter what.
Everybody did.
Everybody
did.
And
like,
I think that's why the trailer,
reset this shit.
Yeah, and that's why the trailer. That's why like the trailer doesn't hide this. The trailer needs to be this because it needs to rally everybody, saying like, if you love the Snyderverse, watch this. If you like the old universe that wasn't too Snydery, watch this. If you want a new beginning to the Gunn era, watch this. This is to bring everyone. This is like
if you want to watch Arrowverse era, you can fuck off.
Yeah. Hey, whoa, there were parts of
Arrowverse
that were fine.
I do too.
I liked The Flash. I liked Legends. I liked Supergirl. So there are things with the Arrowverse I would happily defend as well.
I think the Arrowverse still has a major part to play in all this still, that I think is being kept under wraps for this movie.
Maybe. I mean, they said there's there's a few cameos that no one is talking about. Now I'm sure if you searched it, you could get it spoiled and figured it out. But I keep
Andrew
hearing
Garfield,
chatter of several cameos where people are just like, I can't believe you got this person to do this. So I'm excited. If anything, fuck Michael Keaton, fuck Ezra Miller, fuck Snyder, all this shit, fuck Affleck. I don't care. Show me these cameos that you keep saying are so good, nobody's talking about them. Like, you've already, got me up there. Now it's time to blow my mind, and I'm really
And I heard that in the recent premieres, in the test audience screening, there's parts of the movie that are still blurred.
There's two different versions. So there was like
they're in the Speed Force, duh.
It was like the critics and like the YouTubers and the the social media people all kind of went to this early premiere, but that was a different version than the theatrical release. But they've swapped it, so now some of the early reviewers are seeing the actual theatrical version of the film. So some people got to see a completely different cut, and now some people have got to see the cut that's actually going to release. It was weird the way they did that.
Yeah, and right now it's sitting at a 72% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. So that's
that's good for a Snyder DC film. That's a great number. So
yeah. And what's very, but like I said, I'm very interested to see what's happening, because also Anthony Muschietti, the person that directed this is also another kind of quote unquote audition for him, where he might actually take on Batman the Brave and the Bold for the new Gunverse. So, in which, if he handles Batman as well as he has, I'm interested. I'm not gonna lie, I'm interested. When the guy is left to create, I think he's very good.
So, do we need Brave and the Bold, though? Like, we have all this other Batman shit to explore. Do we need to do another, I
think the title...
You understand what I'm saying? Like, we got this Matt Reeves shit. We got the Ben Affleck shit. We're going to have the reboot shit. Like, people still want Batman Beyond. Like, Batwoman / Batgirl's still floating around there somewhere. And then now we're talking about Brave and the Bold. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ, people.
I don't think Brave and the Bold is going to be Brave and the Bold the way we think it's going to be.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because the Amazing Spider-Man that Andrew Garfield plays, honestly, that's not the Amazing Spider-Man. That's, if anything, Ultimate Spider-Man. He plays it like that.
I really want that third film that they keep.
Of course.
Just fucking make it, man.
I know. But my point is,
fixing that shit, and let's get this done. Like, come on.
My point is that titles have always been just more for show rather than the actual thing that they do. Because
I agree.
Because if Andrew Garfield was truly playing the Amazing Spider-Man, he would not have looked the way he looked, not acted the way he looked. Nothing. Yeah. So I think Brave and the Bold is just a title, so to speak. And hell, it might change. We don't know. But I think it's just it's Batman that's living in an established universe and everything. So I'm excited to see what they do with that. I'm really excited to see it with that. But anyways, going back to The Flash. So this movie has done a very good job. Brought back Zod, who came back with Snyder's blessing, because he was like, I ain't coming back till I get it word that I can. And he did. He talked to Snyder. Snyder's like, go back as Zod. And Zod
Well, the
is here.
funny thing was, I was actually watching. I think I was watching that actual interview that you're talking about, because in it he goes on to say when they approached him initially for it, before he was like, I need to get the blessing and I'll let you know, blah blah blah. They were like, they just like started pitching him the idea, and he's like, you realize Superman kills Zod in the end, right? Like, he's dead. And they were
Yeah.
like, no, we're good. We got a way around that. And then they told him, he's like, oh, yeah, okay. But, like, he's just like, you realize he's dead, right?
No
Like,
way.
Welcome
Dude,
to Flashpoint.
yeah,
That's
Flashpoint. There you go. Bring my
That's
shit.
merely an illusion in the DC universe.
I'll
Remember
say-
Sarah?
Yeah. The
Remember
Flashpoint
Sarah
storyline
from
is
Arrow?
like the
She's died
is
5
like when
times.
you're yeah. Flashpoint is the comic book equivalent to when your mother says, "Because I said so."
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
It doesn't really make any sense, but you just do it. So there it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
even
Destin, what are you looking forward to the most out of the Flash, and what's something that you're seeing that you don't like?
Besides Ezra Miller, still is the Flash.
Look, I mean, I think everybody's like unanimously on the same page here. Okay, like we don't need to say it. Everybody, I think, pretty much.
That's
mutually
the only gripe I really have.
Yeah, I get it.
But you don't. Obviously, I'm excited to see Keaton back under the cowl.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, I'm also not alone in that. I'm excited to see a new approach to Supergirl, even though, admittedly, I also really liked Arrow versus Supergirl.
I did too. I thought Melissa Benoist did a fine job.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm excited to see what they do there. Again, mostly I'm just seeing what all they tie off, basically. Because again, I'm well aware that Flashpoint is that and Crisis on Infinite Earth is just the ultimate, Control Alt Delete of stuff. So I want to see just what ends they snip. I want to see how they tie it all together.
Yeah, totally agree. And I want to real quick just build off what you said about Supergirl. I am not the biggest Supergirl fan. Darth is a huge Supergirl fan. We should have had a four-way on this call and had him on, because he can speak to that a little bit better. Just because he's a huge Supergirl fan. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't like it, because I haven't even seen it yet, but it's just, I don't know. There's something where I'm just like, like, I mean, I'm not saying I'm not looking forward, but I'm also like, but then I realize there's so many different versions of Supergirl, and this is like a Flashpoint thing. It's a many worlds thing. Anything can happen. So yes, Supergirl's not always going to be the nice, kind, bubbly blonde girl, like blah, blah, blah. Like, I understand. I get it, guys. But it's just like, I don't know. Every time I see the preview, she's just all like emo and pissed off. And I'm like, I get it. I understand why.
It's their way of forcing Batgirl on us again.
It's just different for me, because it's not the typical Supergirl that I am accustomed to experiencing. I'm trying to choose my words carefully. So it's not that I'm not looking forward to it, but that's my iffy. I'm like, I think everything else I've heard, I love the ideas. I'm probably not going to hate it. I can't wait to see the cameos. I want to see the Batman. I want to see all the Flashes. I do want to see the Heroes of Supergirl. I want to see Michael Shannon again. Like, this movie has everything working for it except Ezra Miller. But like I said, I think everybody just kind of forgot about them and was like, look, if we can still watch Rosemary's Baby and all agree Roman Polanski is a pedo, then we're good. We can still watch the movie. That's kind of the way I look at it, is if I can watch Rosemary's Baby and appreciate that movie, then I can watch The Flash and appreciate it without trying to blow Ezra Miller. That's the way
I think the best way to describe this also is like, it's kind of like that nightmare sequence in the Snyder Cut where they're forced to have Joker as their guide to get to the kryptonite to defeat Superman.
Oh, don't bring that up. What is up with Jared Leto's fucking Joker laugh? It sounds like that dying seal, man. I'm like, what are you doing, man?
That's the sound of him giving the reach around.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. And you got the big DSL lips going on. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, but that's my point. Like, I think we all want this movie to work, not because we want this to work for Ezra Miller. We are like, all right, it's like we're driving the shittiest car ever, and we just need to get to where we are, and then we're gonna throw the fucking car away because where we're trying to get to is what is great, is resetting the universe, getting to somewhere beautiful, and that's what we're doing. Like, because if you watch the trailers, I'm not gonna lie to you, I kind of forgot the Flash is in this fucking movie. If you haven't seen the trailers,
that's what's so good about it is like, there's so much happening.
Keaton's here. You got the Supergirl. You got Zod.
Affleck, dude.
Affleck. I'm like, oh wait.
Look, guys, let's just get it out in the open now. Henry Cavill's going to be in this movie. I'm calling it now. He's going to be in the fucking movie.
He's in this movie.
There's no way he's not in this movie.
He's in this movie. Because
there's no way he's not in this movie.
Interesting enough. Sasha Cal, the person that plays Supergirl, has spoken to Henry Cavill, basically getting his blessing and such. Yeah. And I'm wondering, in what circumstance did you get that blessing? When, where, how? So it's just, it's a little convenient, And
remember how Toby and Andrew both just almost violently denied any part of being in Spider-Man 3. And then, look who comes up in the third act. So,
well, did you hear about the Tobey Maguire story about what he did in the park about that?
What?
He apparently went up to somebody. It's like, I'm in Spider-Man No Way Home, and no one's gonna believe you.
It's like a random person. Like, hey, just so you know, I am in the movie.
Fact check that, somebody. Please fact check that, because I want that to be real.
What if you were that person, Destin? What if Tobey Maguire walked up to you in Burlinger Park and was like, "Hey, Destin, I'm actually in Spider-Man 3." Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
I would have thanked him for not yelling at me and screaming at me and throwing things at me.
Fair enough.
I would say, don't ever meet your heroes, especially a literal hero. But
motherfucking
I would have already been like, dude, I already know. Come on.
Played it cool with Toby.
I'd say, Marvel Studios has gotten where they are because they listen to the fans, and the fans want Daddy Toby back in the red and blue. So I mean, I knew it was going to happen. Hey, I hate to throw a wrench in your operating system,
I know you gotta go.
but I have a show in the next 5 minutes. So
get at it, man. Good luck.
I'm going to take the ending plug here, put it in the middle.
Yeah.
So as Jesse had mentioned right at the beginning, I am producing and hosting Destin Fest. It is a celebration of comedy, music, and of course, my humility. No, it's for my 30th birthday, and I'm forcing people to actually care about my birthday for once. So I invited 36 comics. I have 4 musical acts. Oh, well, I should say 3 musical acts because I'm one of the 4. Yes, I'm doing comedy. I'm also doing music for it as well. I'm going to be running around like a chicken with my head cut off. It's a 2-day event starting at 6 o'clock. Doors open at 5:30. Goes all the way till 11 o'clock. It's at the Homestead Cherry Valley Public House in Newark, Ohio, June 23rd and June 24th. And then, Jesse is the roast master for the roast of me, since that's how we have to end this vanity project that I've assembled. And we got a bunch of different showcases, again, local musicians, craft beer, barbecue. I'm going to have cake. Hopefully I have strippers and cocaine. But yes. So follow me on social media, the real Destin Richardson, on just about everything. I'm going to be posting about it like my life depends on it, because it does. So check it out. Also listen to my special Grown Up on most audio streaming services. I have the Destination podcast. I'm actually going to be dropping a very special Father's Day episode with my dad. So check that out.
Oh, that'll be good.
Yep, yep. So yeah, follow me everywhere you can, and keep nerding it up, gentlemen. Thank you for having me, and yeah, don't do drugs. I'm just kidding. Do drugs. They're great.
Do drugs are awesome.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you
Justin. We
so much,
appreciate you being
Destin.
on.
Thanks for
Thanks,
coming on
buddy.
out, man.
Good luck
Thanks.
tonight, man.
Like a dead. That was Destin
Okay.
Richardson, everybody. So make sure
Dude,
you check that out. It's going to be a great event. You go on Eventbrite, look up Destin Fest, get those tickets now. It's going to be great. I'm going to roast master for it. Dude, I can't wait. I have some of the meanest things I've ever written.
Oh, dude.
So good.
I can't wait to hear it. And I love that Destin has grown this beard now, because he looked like a 12-year-old before. Now he looks like an older adult male. So I'm glad that he grew his beard.
He looks like DJ Khaled doing whiteface.
He kind of does, man.
He does.
I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, I gotta write that down for the roast.
There you go, man. Write it down. We came up with one of your roasts live on the show.
Got it right here.
So you write that down. I'll move back into the Flash. So
yeah.
Another part that's exciting to me with the Flash is that I again suspect that Grant Gustin might be making a cameo as well.
100.
Because we already had him before. Okay. Why wouldn't we have him again, especially if we're going to have all these other people pop in again? Speculation, but come on. I feel like they've told us without telling us. In fact, I feel like we might see the main CW Arrowverse cast, like Green Arrow, Flash, hopefully fingers crossed, Eobard, Reverse Flash, Tom Cavanaugh. That was still my favorite of all the characters that season 1. I mean, Zoom was dope, but
yeah,
Eobard was just the way Tom Cavanaugh played. And I know it's 2 characters combined into one. I was okay with that. We didn't need to have, what is it, Reverse Flash and Dr. Zoom. Like, I'm fine with them combining them into one. I think it worked really well for the show, but I would love to see them pop up in this. Like, why wouldn't they? And if you're going to get them in there, then why not get Supergirl and Arrow? Like, let's get these people in here for like a single scene cameo, maybe a third act cameo, maybe a big ass battle has to happen, and all these different DC people, just like the MCU through the portal, they all kind of show up somewhere and do a fight. I mean, guys, I'm spitballing here. I'm not saying any of this is true, but it just seems like we're being set up for something more than what we're seeing. Because if you watch all of the TV spots, all of the trailers, all of the teasers, if you watch them all, they're not that different from each other. They're all relatively the same, showing the same shit in the same context. Yes, you might get to see Supergirl more in this one, but there's no extra context. You just get a close-up of her face, all pissed off. That's it.
That's
we haven't gotten a straight shot of Michael Shannon yet on any of these trailers. It's just like, there's nothing defining. They're holding back on this shit for a reason. Because with the amount of marketing that they've done for this film, we should have seen a big variance in the trailers by now. Because we see that with most films, is that each trailer has to be just so different from the other one. One, because they need the clicks and the views to make more money. But 2, they've got to keep people interested. But again, repeating my point with the Flash, while they are different, if you watch them all back to back, it's all relatively the same narrative, the same shit, the same context. There's not a big variance, and I think that's actually for a reason. I think we're getting set up to see something that I don't know if it's going to be the best decision. I don't know if it's going to be something that they think the fans want. I don't know what it is, but I feel like we're being set up for something that we're not expecting. And I'm really excited for that. But I've set my expectations so that if I'm let down in the theater, it's okay. Because this is just me thinking. But I can't ignore it that I feel like we're getting set up for something more than what we're seeing.
And I agree, because DC has a horrible history of making some of the best trailers ever while not being our best products. And I
Dude,
think
the Joss Whedon Justice League trailer made it look fucking amazing. Like,
exactly. Well, and here's the thing, because I was listening to a podcast of Kevin Smith. It was his review of Batman versus Superman recently, and he made such a very interesting point of what hurt that movie, in my opinion. He says if you watch the trailers, all the trailers, they pretty much have a clip from every single scene that
he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
And it pretty much gave you everything in the trailer. They gave you Doomsday, they gave you Wonder Woman, they gave you KG Beast, they gave you everybody. And I'm thinking, like, if you imagine the different half of that movie, if they would have held back Doomsday, Wonder Woman, if they had held back those two people, you know what I mean? I think you would have got more people would have been more excited in theaters. And they've been having. I think everybody felt like they were almost like rewatching the same movie they watched before, but a longer version. Like, we already seen the 3-minute version of this movie. Now you're making it a 2.5-hour movie. You know what I mean?
That point, is that a point that Kevin Smith made specifically?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure I give the proper person credit. I actually 100% agree with that point, and I didn't even think about that point until you just shared it with me.
Yeah.
But now that I'm processing that makes 100% total sense. That explains and it's so simple. It's so simple. And that makes so much fucking sense to me. I didn't hate the film. I hated that, again, we fuck up Superman and Doomsday.
We rushed it. It was
constantly. That should have been its own fucking movie. Why would you shoehorn that shit in the end of your combo buddy cop movie that you were supposed to be making? Okay, yeah. I get it, Batman versus Superman, but Batman only versus Superman like 2 times, and it was like 25 minutes of screen time. Yeah, right? This should have been through the whole goddamn movie, and then we should have done a separate Doomsday movie. That 2000 like 8, 7, 9 animated film Superman Doomsday was a complete and utter disaster. The most recent release is pretty good. It's still a little shaky on the Superman Doomsday fight, in my opinion, but the Reign of Superman part, they got cool. Metropolis Kid, I had a couple quibbles with, but overall, it was actually really well done. But I don't understand why we can't do this. So I know this is never going to happen in The Flash, just because it would have been ridiculous. But I would love to have gotten a do-over and a proper Doomsday and Superman going out, some Reign of Superman shit happening, Superman coming back in the regen suit with the long hair. Like, dude, that would have been epic, and I would have loved to have seen that done properly.
Well, we are getting a rookie year Superman movie.
I guess you're right. It's possible.
So we could, and so it could build to that, and I think James Gunn understands the patience of building to that. So there's still hope for you on that. But yeah, like I said, but these trailers, like I said, they've been hiding it. They've been holding it. I mean, look at the Snyder Cut. Like the Justice League Snyder Cut came out. That trailer barely revealed anything at all.
And it looked badass because then the rest of the movie was shit. So I mean,
no, the Snyder Cut.
I thought you switched back to.
Remember he plays the Hallelujah song. It's just and just cool imagery, and that's all it is. And then you didn't know, like that one scene where like Superman shows back up is just badass. He uses his ice breath to crack that whole thing. Like Warner Brothers would have showed that in the trailer. They would have showed that, and that would have hurt it, because you remember that reaction when he does that, like how excited you were. You got to see
absolutely.
It was so cool. It was so cool. But anyways, with this Flash movie, they're hiding a lot of shit. They're showing the same Michael Keaton fight scene every single time. They're showing every single little thing. I'm like, great. You know, that
same shots, right? Yeah. Same exact shots. There's only been like 4 scenes of Michael Keaton shown, and it's the same 4 ones. You're not seeing any other ones. You're not seeing him walking around as Bruce Wayne doing Bruce Wayne shit. You're not seeing him suit up as Batman. Mm-hmm. You're not seeing shit. You think you are. They've shown you nothing in these trailers.
The bat plane, want to get nuts, fighting people in that prison that Supergirl's at.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. That's really good. It's right now.
Same shit. And the stuff with Barry Allen, it's a conversation about time travel. Time travel happens. Oops, I fucked up. Multiple Batmen. Enemies show up. Supergirl dun, the Flash.
I've
In
actually
every single trailer, there's really no variance from that.
I actually started to ignore TV spots because I have so little faith in the WB. And I'm like, oh God, don't shoot yourself in the fucking foot now. Don't shoot yourself in the fucking foot. Everybody wants to see this movie. Because this is the thing. That's the thing about IP. That's why you make IP. And this will be my last point because I don't want us to go too long. But IP, the reason why it's so valuable in Hollywood is that everybody knows about it. It doesn't take a lot of credits or trailers to get you to see it. It's a superhero
True.
movie. You
True.
know, look, Batman. If they would just go, Batman,
Right.
imagine Batman, Superman, fights, boom.
Yeah.
They're gonna go to the theaters. They're gonna see that movie.
DC, you could drill down as far as you want. You can do comics, but then specific comic publishers, DC, specific DC characters for the Flash, specific DC Flash stories, Flashpoint. Like, you can go from the highest down to the smallest and use that to your advantage.
It does. It's not going to take a lot of it. Like, at the end of the day, it's not going to take a lot of work to get asses in the seats for a Spider-Man movie, a Batman movie, a Superman movie. It's not going to take a lot of work.
People are going to go.
Spend that much money. You tell people it's going to be there, and people will see it. I mean, I think some movies. I mean, look at Venom. Venom did maybe one trailer, and everybody showed up to that fucking movie. You know what I mean?
Regrettably.
I know we have different opinions on that, but point is,
we need to do a show where we debate Venom, because
we can debate that. We can debate the integrity of that. But anyways,
blobs.
Well, the point is, long story short, let's get back to it. IP is easier to sell rather than an original idea that you have to get people to fall in love with, and that's tough. It is. Yeah, but anyway.
That's the hard part too. That's the hard part too, is that's where the risk is. And I want to, it's not my money. Okay. I get that. It's not my company. It's not my money. It's not my job. Right. I mean, people get fired over bad movies all the time. So I don't have a stake in it. Right. Yeah. The only stake in it is, am I going to go see your movie? That's it. You got to convince me to go see it. And you're right. There are absolutely certain IPs that I will show up for. I will always show up for Star Wars. I don't care that I had the opinion I have of the sequels. I'm going to still show up to every movie. Exactly. It doesn't matter. Even if there were some, not all, that I personally may not have enjoyed, it doesn't mean that I won't enjoy the next one. And there's plenty of superhero movies I liked and didn't like, but I'm still going to show up, and I'm sure as shit going to show up for DC. I'm surely going to show up for The Flash, and I'm definitely showing up for Supergirl, because I'm pretty sure Cavill is showing up. 100. I mean, so you're right. There are IPs that sell themselves to enough people, and then there's IPs you have to convince people to go see. I definitely agree with that, but that's where I'd like to see filmmaking take more risk. That's very formulaic, and I get that there's a science, and I get that we've gambled all this money, and we've determined this is how the machine works, and I applaud them for finally figuring that out. But at the same time, if you never take a risk and you just only give what the people are giving their money to at that time, you're never going to move forward. Because there was a time where we didn't have nudity in movies, but we did Caligula, and we got to fucking in movies after that. There was a time where we didn't have cocaine in movies, but we made Scarface, and we've been doing it ever since.
We didn't show toilets flushing, and then we got Psycho.
Exactly. So, you have to take a risk to then create something new, a new demand, a new product, what have you. If we just stay where the money is now, and the money is the thing is, everybody says, I hate reboots, I hate remakes, stop doing them, make original stuff. But then original stuff comes out and nobody goes to see it because they go see the reboots, and then the high studios like, oh, that's where the money is, we'll keep making those. At some point, you have to take the risk to then move it to that next part. And I feel like we're getting very stagnant. We are afraid to take the risk because the reboot money is safe. And again, I get that. I don't own those businesses. I'm not a decision-making member of those businesses. But I can tell you that for somebody who loves filmmaking and just performing arts in general, when you take risks, people will follow and try it out. And if you do something right, they'll continue to do it, just like all those other things that have taken off that didn't exist before. So take the fucking risk and let's move forward with this shit, because that's why everybody has all this fatigue, and that's why we're not innovating. So at some point the bubble's going to burst. If you want to bring back people to the theater and get that business and market share going again and get that away from streaming, you have to create shit that's not stupid. You have to create shit that people want to see and they're willing to go see it because it's good, not because it's just the IP they happen to like, or you put something flashy in front of them. But that's a risk. That's a risk to do. And so I get it.
So, like I said, go out, see movies, man. Save the theaters. Find it. I'd say for every 2 IP movies you see, find an original movie. Take a risk. That's what I want everybody to do. That's your homework assignment. But
I like the homework assignment.
Yes. But that's all the time we have today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Destin, for being on the show. Check out Destin Fest at the end of the month. Go to eventbrite.com. Look up Destin Fest. Get those tickets, and you are in for a good time. Thanks to Vance, our producer, for producing the goods. And until next time, I'm Jesse.
And I'm John.
And you've been sitting at the grown-ups table. Thank you, and an awesome night, everybody.